you could get a farrier who's fixing a lot of the external problems on a foot. And actually there's things going wrong internally that you wouldn't ever see without an X-ray.
Well, let's give an example. Like let's say you got a long toe. I mean, as a farrier, you've got the experience, and this is why it's so important for farriers and vets, and actually the whole community we discussed to work together, because each person has their forte. I'm just a vet, and I have my specific set of knowledge that I'm able to apply. But in comparison to someone that's been in the industry farrieing for decades.
How long has it been for you now? 22?
22 years, yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
22 years. I mean, that's a massive amount of, and there's loads of farriers and professionals out there that have that knowledge, and that's why it's wise for vets, and I'm a young vet, so I can say that I will listen and work with the farriers in order to improve it. But you don't have X-ray eyes.
No, we don't.
So how do you know how much of that toe to bring back?
Well, exactly.
That's really interesting.
Are? And X-rays are. I mean, the technology is here. You got.
It's so easy. It's so easy now. I was very impressed. We had an issue the other day, and just at a yard that I was riding at. It was one of my horses, but I saw vets arrive, and live they were X-raying and putting it onto the laptop. Yeah. Live. It was incredible. So they could immediately see what was going on.
So that's a DR machine, which is the new machines that come out, so direct, and then they go by Bluetooth. The old ones had a long cable that would connect them. But I mean, the technology is just phenomenal, and you must see the new X-ray machines that come out where you can see the resolution by the pixel pitch, and it's almost you can see the hairs and just so fine details and the mark lines on the bones. It's just incredible. So. Yeah, I mean, we've got this technology. How do X-rays help you?
Well, firstly, obviously, X-raying the feet, we can see where, if the A is a chip between P1 and P2. That's also important. Yeah. We can see there's navicular issues.
So, okay, back to that. When you're taking the X-rays, most of the time, let's say someone comes through and you call me, or someone phones and says, okay, this horse has got very, very flat feet, long toe, heels down. We want to assess and have a look at the pedal angles and know where we're sitting at first. Because how do you know how to correct something if you have no idea what the pedal angles are and what you want to correct to? So then essentially, without taking an X-ray, you're going in blind. But I mean, we have to clarify. I mean, let's say that you're doing standard trimming and the horse doesn't have any obvious conformational issues. Would every single horse have to be X-rayed, or horses that just specifically have issues?
I think just the ones that you obviously have issues is the best idea. But then obviously all the top Grand Prix horses or the World Cup horses that I do, we X-ray at least like every 6 to 8 months. Yeah. To check, make sure everything is fine and so forth.
So that's how often. So it's basically like, so if someone is embarking on a competition career with their horse, it's a good idea, but so I hear you say, like, if there's no issues, you don't need to do it. But you want to kind of get ahead of those.
It's like a maintenance thing.
Yeah. So this is where actually the field starts progressing. Like, I give you an example, ultrasound. So back in the day, no one, ultrasound wasn't something that you regularly did because the machines weren't of such a caliber that you would get a good image out of it. But now, every colic that comes into the clinic will get scanned. Taking ultrasound and doing routine scans is something that people do. And
it's becoming more accessible and more affordable.
So maybe that is something that will start happening with regards to X-raying, because if you can add information to your repertoire of tools.
Absolutely. There's a lovely business intelligence saying that says what you don't measure, you can't fix,
exactly.
So until you measure something, you can't improve it or say that it's gotten worse or...
So exactly. So you need to measure, have a look at the pedal angles, and I like what you said about having a look like OCDs and things that are there. So while you're taking that X-ray, maybe it's best to not just take laterals, because to take it. The other thing is when you get someone to take the X-rays, they need to be diagnostic and they need to be lateral. How much does it irritate you when you have an X-ray that's not done properly?
No, exactly. I mean, sometimes everybody says, "Oh no, the foot's skewed, unlevel, it's unlevel." Yeah. Meanwhile, It's just been to maybe the leg.
Your glasses were unlevel. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I mean, that's like,
But it happens.
Yeah.
but at the same time, while you're taking that X-ray, you're looking at the pedal angles of the foot, and you're looking, okay, have we got a flat foot? What's it looking like? But let's say that you've got negative angles. Okay. That also can predispose you to navicular syndrome.
Yes. Yeah.
So at the same time, why not, if it's going to be your first time when you're taking the X-rays, take additional views, take orthogonal views. So in vet,
So is it almost like you're suggesting building up a 3D model of the foot in a way?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because you're taking a 2D image of a 3D object. So,
And why would people go for an X-ray instead of a CT scan?
okay. So a CT scan specifically will look at, it will be more detailed. So what is,
Okay.
so if I explain a CT scanner,
Is there a tremendous cost difference?
there's a massive cost.
That was where I was going with that one.
So a CT scan is much more expensive. It's like overkill for that type of period. But a CT scan is like basically a big X-ray machine that takes a whole lot of images of that foot or whatever you're X-raying, and you can build up that 3D image, and it's digitally built. So it's very cool to see.
Yeah.
And now they're doing MRIs. So there's actually an MRI machine in Onisiput.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
That's
we
incredible.
managed to get the whole hock into it. So
That's amazing.
You've got this
Wow.
horse in this, and it's 1.5 Tesla MRI machine. It's very cool. But I mean, that's going to open up a whole lot of imaging modalities with regards to suspensories, proximal suspensories.
Absolutely.
Very
yeah.
difficult to see under ultrasound, actually.
No.
And that changes the ball game. So as the technology comes through,
It'll
but
get
back
better.
to the OCD, take the orthogonal views. Use your if you're going to come out and take X-rays, maybe you could take X-rays and you could definitely see the distal flange, so the coffin joints, the proximal, so the pastern, and then also your fetlock, if you're taking good image. And that could actually, and then also navicular skylines, those views. So you can get a real good idea of what's happening in your horse, because 80% of lameness does happen below the knee.
So statistically speaking, if
Yes,
someone's having a soundness issue with their horse.
So it's not just taking X-ray.